हुकूक जानी मुलाहाजा करें gov.uk/social housing।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम। सर्दियों में फ्लू और कोविड-19 ज्यादा आसानी से फैलते हैं और आपको सख्त बीमारी का शिकार बना सकते हैं, मगर फ्लू और कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन बहुत बड़ा फर्क ला सकती हैं। ये आपको महफूज रखती है और बीमारी से बचने में बेहतर तरीके से मदद करती है।
Hello from the Friends of Queen's Market.
Hello.
It's the new year, 2025. But, you know, time passes quickly, obviously.
That was some years back, 1990 something.
No,
It's all the
same. 2025, and we've had the holidays. And we're back, and Queen's Market is we're back here, and we're doing our shows, and we've done 12 already, thanks to Sant here. And we've had a Christmas cake in the market, and I think arranged by the traders, and I think it managed to maybe even raise a smile in the management's.
No, it didn't actually.
No?
It didn't.
I thought that was on camera, but anyway.
Anyone see any smiles?
I think that was Photoshop in.
There were a lot of happy people there. The council reckoned they couldn't afford a Christmas tree, but they made sure that there were celebrations in the market. Yeah. And I think that was partly because the traders were looking over their shoulders and saying, you know, if you don't do anything, we will.
And
they did provide the cake. Yes, I do believe there were. So
fantastic.
It wasn't bad. And a Father Christmas, so with a few presents. So a good time was had by all.
That's good, because it was our traditional thing to always do something in the market at Christmas, wasn't it? Give out sweets, and it's been really successful. People like it, don't they?
They do indeed.
Well, the market campaign used to do it, but
now it's been taken over.
We're not allowed anymore.
As long as the show goes on and somebody gives the children a nice time, why not?
Yeah. So anyway, our show is going on as our campaign. My name's Lucy. I'm on the campaign since 2009. And I think I'd like to say that we are very lucky to have a person in the form of Pauline, who keeps things going, because it's really hard to sometimes keep these things going. And we've been going for over 21 years. And Pauline has been the sort of linchpin. Yeah. I know she's very modest, but we are so grateful. And we want to do some updates about what's going on at the moment. Does anyone have any updates?
Well, what is really going on, we don't know. But what we do know is that according to the council, they were supposed to be looking at people's opinions on the post-it slips back in May. And apparently
that's from the consultation.
The consultation. They were then going to publish the results. Correct me if I've got the timetable wrong. And discuss it with the public, and then go off to the council with their suggestions. But this has paused. There's a great big pause. There's a great big stop now. And there's an internal review. So we don't know what's being reviewed. We don't know whether they're having second thoughts. It would be wonderful if they were having second thoughts about luxury flats on the site. But it's a bit too early to think that's what's going on and start cheering. But certainly they are having some sort of second thoughts, whether good ones or bad ones, we don't know. but we are going to, some of us are going to be meeting one of the senior officials in the council, a new person who's taken over the project.
You can say the name, or is it a secret?
No, I don't think we should. They are an officer. Look, if ever we mentioned their name and then something happened to them, they had an accident or something. No, seriously, we would be afraid.
It's like a conspiracy thing, like
No,
miracle.
it isn't. But look, come on, we're on a different side to the council on this one. I don't think we should name names. And we give our names freely.
But in any case, we've got an audience with this new person
Yes,
who's kind of in charge of essentially the regeneration.
yes. Another new person.
Yeah,
They do seem to be changing them
they
around.
seem to move away, come and go quite fast, don't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
But our program today is going to, well, and probably before we go on to some more updates, our program today is about, we wanted to tell everyone about this Leeds report, which is yes, here it is, which is I can't work out on the camera, which is a very important piece of work done in 2021
Yeah.
by Leeds University
Yes.
about the market. And we're going to talk all about this thing's social value in the market. But meanwhile, the updates are so that we're meeting this new person who's kind of new on the scene and supposedly coordinating everything. And Sant, have you got any updates on what's going on?
What about the building work? How's that going? Is it finished?
What building works?
The market.
Well, no, they've still got the front boarded up, which is confusing everybody. Some people have actually said, oh, they're building the flats then, although the notices don't say, but it's cold. People aren't going to stick around reading council notices. So
I mean, it's going so slow that I can't even see any progress going on. But the other issue is it's like a slow motion film. But the other issue, I've driven up that car park, and I'll be honest, at 4 o'clock, and it's so dark up there.
Because the lights
So
don't work.
dark, and yet they still haven't got round to fix it. But that's not just a recent thing; it's been going on for years. And I've tried going down those stairs, and I'm telling you something. Somebody who has got a disability, with the left foot, is getting down those stairs is hard.
They're blocked. Someone's put a bin there.
They've all been there.
Big metal council bin.
Especially when it rains, it's not the safest place to sort of get down and get up from the car park into the market. So
it just shows that the upkeep of the market is
it's
always
just
pitifully poor.
it's
Yes.
never ever maintained.
You know what? When I went past today, people were effing and blinding because apparently the market's flooded. Because it was shut today, but the people were shouting about it's flooded.
I've been in
The
there.
water won't go down.
I've been in there and I've seen it. I've got pictures of it where it's dripping and people have got like boxes with plastic in there trapping the drips so it doesn't splash over onto the stalls. This is absolutely madness. If this was a house, if this was a council house, they'll be suing the council.
Or any public place, they would say it's a health and safety
they'll be
issue.
suing the
It's
council.
sorted.
And that is a food place.
Yeah.
That is a food place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely
I-
ridiculous.
I mean, obviously we'll get there in the end, but you just have to fight so
Um,
hard for these small things.
It
It's
just
very
but
annoying.
Don't you think that what we need people to always remember is the fact that this money, £7 million,
Yep.
that's been put supposedly towards the market, including 1 million to rebuild the canopies in the front, which is why the market's boarded up.
Yep.
If you compare that with the amount of money that they don't spend on simple things like cleaning it and keeping it maintained,
Just the basics.
it's horrendous.
the basics. And if we're talking about a food space, if there's food there, and we should keep that space as clean, as hygienically clean as
Well,
possible.
I'm sure that they've they know that the hygiene is okay, but still they're not looking after it, are they?
Well,
This is the point. Yeah.
they're not.
But there you are.
As a landlord, they're not doing their job.
No.
Yes.
Maybe
So-
the pigeons are flying away because it's so cold.
No, they're just walking around like that.
But in any case, the work, or the canopy at the front, which is going to have lights on it, is going to be ready supposedly in February, isn't it?
That's correct.
So,
But
Yes,
Lucy,
that's
what
they
I've
tell
done-
and
us.
which is 6 months of work, some days of which you don't see anything going on.
But Lucy, what I don't understand, if it's planned well, why would you plan it around a Christmas time period?
Absolutely.
The most important time of any trading establishment, whether it's a market or a supermarket or anything. Why around Christmas? I have no idea. And it then carries on through the bank holidays. There's some madness in this. And this is what I'm finding that I don't know. I'm lost for words when it comes down to how they're actually planning this work. Who's procured it, who's executed, who's done it.
Well, we've asked the questions, haven't we? And
We
we
have.
don't get answers,
No.
except when you do a freedom of information request, such as asking how much those canopies were
Yeah.
costing, and it's £1 million.
£1 million.
I mean, how many houses could you build if you owned the land already for that? You could build at least 4, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
And yet this is a canopy
Just a canopy on its own.
with just legs, no walls or anything.
But nobody asked for it. Did they actually ask the traders? Is that what you want?
They had a whole year's consultation, but it was very peculiar. Yes, they didn't really ask people in a straight way. The meetings were convened and led with a sort of pre-arranged dialogue, so that the council could say we've talked
But
to the
that's-
traders.
But
But anyway,
But the word is led. They're led, but yet they're not asked to participate and make a decision on their own future, how the market should look. Why don't they give the traders their future in their hands? Let them decide what should go on the front.
I think you're suggesting that we should have a free country, but that's outside the realm of this discussion.
Well, I'm not talking about country. I'm
This
talking
man
about
sounds like a revolutionary.
Yeah, he does rather, doesn't he?
Except that when they did
There's nothing wrong with revolution.
No, the Che Guevara,
they did ask people, and actually when they summed it up, they said, what do we need? A new floor,
Yeah.
better lighting, and maybe do up, sort of improve the canopies.
Yes.
Instead of which, well, we all know about the lighting. It's horrendous.
So that didn't work.
It's terrible, bad. The new floor,
So that
never to
didn't
be
work.
talked about again, even though 2 years ago they said we're doing a new floor. They're not doing it. And then they give us these canopies, which are all singing, all dancing.
So it's amazing. We could do one failure, but we're allowed another 2.
Yeah,
So when do we get the power to decide on our own future?
yeah.
The
Well,
roof still leaks, or have they fixed it?
Hey, no. But this is what I'm trying to say. We have no control over the future. We've got other people deciding for us with our money, because it's taxpayers' money.
so we need to just keep on with our campaign, which is just letting people know what's happening and letting people know of any threats that are coming our way.
But it's the only form
Absolutely.
of scrutiny and accountability that's going on. And it's coming
Yes.
from a grassroots group. It's not coming from an internal scrutiny, internal governance. It's not coming from any government structure. It's coming from a grassroots, 21-year-old grassroots action group.
Yeah.
This is where it's coming from. This seeking for accountability, this seeking for some sort of adjustment to where we have we can play participation, which is
Yeah.
what our democracy is supposed to be based on. Is I always keep coming back to that.
Yeah,
It's based on participation. If there's anything else that we've got to go by, that's not even happening.
no. But I mean, I suppose that's why we were so pleased to have this report done, wasn't it? Because it was done by academics and very
Leeds
carefully done.
University.
We can talk, Pauline, you can, or we were there, and you could talk about how it came about, or at least how they conducted it, because they conducted it with many, many, many interviews, far more consultation quotes than we've seen. And we were so grateful that this piece of work we could hold up and say, this tells you what things we've been saying, and it backs it up, and it's really good,
It's
isn't
a
it?
definitive report.
Yes, and I think it's particularly important to turn to this after we've talked about all the negative sides of Queen's Market, because the fact is that although it's not properly kept and there's so much structurally wrong with it, people come and they come loyally. They come for the fresh fruit and veg, which is bought by really hard-working traders. They come for the friendliness, and that's why the market will survive. They deserve better, and if Friends of Queen's Market has anything to do with it, they'll get better treatment.
Exactly.
But meanwhile, the market goes on, and in spite of the downsides, we want more and more people to come along.
Yeah.
Right, that's not answering your question, Lucy, about the Leeds report. This is about a bunch of academics who specialise in studying markets approached us in 2015, actually, about doing a study on Queen's Market, doing a study on various markets. And it took them a long time to decide to study Queen's Market. And it took them a long time to get the funding. I'm not quite sure when they started it, to be honest. I think it would have taken about 3 years or so. But it was finished in 2021, just as people were coming out of COVID, and really, it doesn't say everything about the market, but it really, the findings are very favourable to the market. And it's interesting that the council, although over the years, they've tried to speak very negatively about the market, they couldn't find anything to criticise in this one. And amazingly, 2 years later, the council commissioned their own survey of Newham's markets to be done by the Retail Survey Group. And they found their findings were very much in harmony with these findings.
But equally, the Leeds report had quite a lot of very careful interviews, didn't it?
Yes.
I think there were 500, was it about 500 interviews? And there were translators on hand. So could you talk a bit about how that, do you know how that was done? Because there had
Can I
to
just
be...
quickly say something? I've done some research on just the authors alone. These are not lightweight authors.
No, far from it.
These are not lightweight. I've researched everyone. They are some heavyweight authors in sociology, you name it. They've got everything. They have the credentials. So these people know what they're talking about. These are not just newbies coming in for their degree. These are people who are established, and they've moved around, and they wrote many books. So this report is compiled by some heavyweight people.
Yes, and in fact they got an audience
Experts.
with the mayor and the officers. They didn't actually just talk to shoppers. They talked to, so they were given that access, to the officials and everything. So they were obviously very highly regarded. Yeah.
Well, they knew the right questions to ask. They knew the research direction they were going to go. They knew everything because they've done it before. And we've got some, as I said, there's some heavy hitters in there. So this is not just something that's come out of nothing. So brilliant. And I must admit, there's one thing I do like about it. It was talking about how it says in there. I'm going to guess it. What should I import it to? It says that it's something about how nothing needs to be done apart from just improving the market itself. The market needs to get, it's all in that first page. And there's so much in there that people really should take the time out to have a good read of it. And it'll give them a much better understanding of what the market is capable of doing.
Stan, you've just had a sort of first read because you weren't on the campaign when this came out, were you? Or I don't think you were. But what's your first impressions of the report?
The report is fantastic. It basically the market is fantastic, improve it. Put money into it, the market pays for itself. There's hundreds of people employed at the market. Some of the most lowest paid workers, have to shop at the market because they've got no choice. And there's, it talks about how pensioners have to shop at the market because they can't afford to go anywhere else. And I think the council doesn't have to do anything else. Just read this report,
I mean, it says it here.
put it into action.
Queen's Market is a social, welcoming, supporting community asset. 92% of market users strongly agree that it is a community hub. Now, how many times do we hear about certain places in community hubs? Community markets are more important to market users than any other community facilities, e.g. library, parks, and other retail food outlets. Now, these are written by people who know their field.
Yeah, but they also, they asked this is what people told them, isn't it? That's what they're reporting.
Yeah, this is all evidence,
that's what
research based.
They just wouldn't put something there that wasn't,
No, because
they just wouldn't do it.
they were basing it on what they heard from people.
These were
And I think the
independent,
interviews were quite long. Each interview
neutral people.
was quite long. It wasn't just tick a box or
Yeah.
something, was it?
This was not a tick box exercise.
Yeah.
And I think this report has been used on in other places of how markets should be considered. How the language around a market should be used. How certain nouveau languages come up. It's all in there. And it's more of it. You could bring something from outside somewhere else and apply it here. It's like some sort of little holy Bible of how markets should be, or what markets do, or what happens in a market. That's what I see.
And also the study included other markets, didn't it? I think this one was part of a study that included Bury Market and the one in Leeds.
Yeah.
So it was sort of, they were looking at them all together, but of course they've got so many different, they've got so many similarities, haven't they, Mark? Always. That's what things we're always talking about, how markets are different from other places.
Markets are different in all different places because some could be town centre markets. Oh, maybe they're hundreds of years.
Markets are organic things, so depending on, whether it's Leeds, Bury or Newham.
But they're all different, but they all have the same values.
Mm.
You cannot get one market that doesn't fit into this category of what it supplies, it provides. You cannot do it. Everything is here. And I think this is the foundation for a lot of markets. You could take this and you could look at every market and you could tick it off of here.
Yeah.
Because it all complies.
One question I actually had, it's slightly off the wall, but Pauline, you've travelled a lot in the world. You've been to, as I understand it, lots of places across the world. And I wondered, do you always go and visit a market in a place you go, or have you sort of seen any particular markets?
I try to because I like markets. Yes, I think. Yeah, funnily enough, the place that really sticks in my memory is when I went to Venezuela and I went to a market and I was buying some tapes there, and because the guys...
Tapes being music tapes.
Music tapes.
Oh, people
yes.
might not know what those are.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, old
It's how we used to
cassettes.
listen to music.
Cassettes, yes. And the guys were talking, they were talking in rapid Spanish, but it was exactly the same banter. They were playing, they were making sort of the way they do joke a bit with an older woman. Oh, you like that, don't you, darling? He's your pin-up boy, isn't he? Sort of thing. It was all being said in Spanish, but you could tell the intonation, And then for some reason, I got separated from my partner, and I was calling out for him, and they were joining in, with their strong Spanish accents. But I thought, This is the sort of thing that would happen in Queen's Market, exactly, because you do hear that joke and banter and interaction, especially sometimes too when traders feel the customers are giving them too hard a time, you know. Hey, if you want nice things, you've got to pay nice prices. I heard one of them say the other week. But yes, in many ways, I think there is a market culture that goes across the world. That's the one that strikes me most of
That's
all.
a good one.
I think you get to France, the French people take their markets very seriously. I think you really need to know the language to properly know the language.
What I like about the French ones is the fact that the authorities seem to provide a space for anyone to come. So it could be one old man with just a basket of peaches which he's got down in front of him, which he's grown, and it seems that they really do think that that's important, that it's just a place where people come and do their, you know, do even a little bit of trading. It's not all licensed. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it is licensed, but it feels that they think it's important.
It's a community access.
Yeah.
If they've got a product that's homegrown,
Yeah.
organically grown, they've got access to sell it to somebody instead of it being wasted in the field, which is what's happening in our farms in this country.
Yeah. They should,
because we're not supporting
places.
our farms in this country. And you know, apples are grown, they're just left there to rot. So I think that's what markets should be doing. That's what a market is all about.
Yes, it is.
I could produce something, whether it be a shirt, a jumper, or whatever, take it to a market, hang it up, and offer my skill and my trade, what I've got to offer at a price that is affordable to whoever wants to buy it. That's what a market's all about. And in the meantime, exchange a conversation and a glance and a touch.
What's your favourite market in another country? Do you have one?
Well, no, really. I mean, I've gone to India, right, and we've got bazaars there, and we've got markets around there, and it's honestly, I just get fascinated about the types of vegetables. I've never seen a carrot that wants to go around corners, and it's hairy as well. You know, it's a totally different view of looking at vegetables because they're just grown different. It's not this prim and proper as you see in the market. They're totally different before they were modified and genetically modified to what they are now. So they're still grown the old way back there. If people really knew what a carrot really looked like, they'd think twice about it, but they actually taste better as well. But I've seen, which we call sabji mandis over there, and you got every sort of vegetable going. It's unbelievable. But it's a news. I've been to France and I've seen the markets. I'm fantastic. But you get lost in these markets. You don't get lost. You know, I get lost in the atmosphere because you hear different languages. You don't understand any of them, but yet everybody understands something. I don't know. I think it's just a hand gesture. It's emotion. It's the eye contact, the eyebrow. I watch them and I think that is what markets are. I could sit in a market all day and watch people. You know, if I was an artist, I'd be watching them and just drawing them all about. Sadly, I'm not.
I drew Ridley Road for a month.
There you go.
And it was amazing
But to
just sit there and just observe.
And Queen's
for a whole
Market,
month.
people come and have a coffee and sit out there.
Yeah.
And
So where are the drawings of Ridley Market?
They were exhibited at the time in 2017 and 18, but I'd like to show them again. I actually showed them near the market as well, but I'd like to revive them again. But what was a great privilege I found to just sit there and be looking at how people go about the day, because the shopper just comes and goes, but you know, when you're there all day you see lots of other stuff and you hear lots of nice music. I remember I was sometimes quite near the CD stall, so there were have you been to Ridley?
I have. I mean, people keep on saying it's under threat, that they want to.
well, it's shrunk. I think there's a lot of it now. It's been shrunk down.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where where they like to clean it all up, so called. but not ask the traders whether that actually works for them. And
exactly.
also, yeah, they never ask the traders.
They never ask the traders.
No.
So, but I think that's applied everywhere. They just never ask the traders, you know.
Well, yes, I mean, this isn't in this book, but historically, I mean, they've never rated market traders. In fact, they used to be regarded, I think, as the lowest of the low, because, you know, in the Victorian era, if you lost your job, well, one thing you could do was get a barrow and try and get something or other and sell it in the market just to keep body and soul together. So it's no coincidence that whereas lots of firms have human relation departments, markets have inspectors,
That's a
like
good
the
point.
constabulary. So there is a tendency to sort of look down the noses and regard market traders as, you know, rough guys. Well, of course, they have to be strong for the job.
What about the women? They were
I'm
too rough
saying.
with
Queen's Market, trust me, I'm telling you, there were a lot of strong women in there.
Yes.
Hell
Well,
of a lot.
we're going to have a break now, I think, and then come back to talking about
Yes.
strong women.
Yeah.
I think, what do I do? Just
Just like
go
Fuck
down.
that.
See you in a bit.
पानी के बगैर जिंदगी का तस्वुर नामुमकिन है। दुनिया भर में तकरीबन 2 अरब से ज्यादा लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको पीने का साफ और महफूज पानी मुयस्सर नहीं। रोजमर्रा के इस्तेमाल के साथ साथ पीने के लिए इन्हें आलूदा पानी पर इन्हिसार करना पड़ता है, जिसकी वजह से बच्चे या बड़े सब मुख्तलिफ बीमारियों का शिकार हो जाते हैं जो अक्सर जानलेवा साबित होती हैं। इस रमजान मुबारक मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन की वाटर फॉर ऑल अपील का हिस्सा बनिए। आप सिर्फ 180 पाउंड से एक छोटा हैंडपंप नस्ब कर सकते हैं जो 15 खानदानों को साफ पानी उनकी दहलीज पर मुहैया करते हैं। नस्बशुदा हैंडपंप की रिपोर्ट और दीगर तफसीलात डोनर को मुहैया कर दी जाती हैं ताकि वो जान सके कि उनकी अमानत हकदारों तक मुहैया कर दी गई है। मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन को अपनी ज़कात, सदका या खैराती अतियात देने के लिए अपने मकामी MWF ऑफिस 12 कार रोड, नेल्सन, BB9 7JS तशरीफ लाएं। हमें 01282 723 455 पर कॉल करें या हमारी वेबसाइट www.minhajwelfare.org पर देखें। ताज़ा तरीन वीडियोस और अपडेट्स के लिए फेसबुक, Instagram और Twitter पर जुड़े रहें।
Thinking of selling or letting your property? Need someone reliable to find the best prospect for your home? Well, look no further. Cameron Adams is here to take care of all your needs. Our professional and experienced team will guide you through the entire process and ensure you find the right client for your property. For a no obligation quotation, contact us now on 0208 558 2000. That's 0208 558 2000. Or visit us at 30 Church Lane in Leytonstone. Cameron Adams, always at your service.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
अगर आपकी सोशल हाउसिंग की रिहाइश में कोई मसला हो
Hello
तो
again.
छुटकारा पाने का तरीका जाने।
Queen's Market.
अगर आपने अपने लैंडलॉर्ड से शिकायत की है और आप उसके जवाब से खुश नहीं हैं, तो आप हाउसिंग ओम्बड्समैन को शिकायत भेज सकते हैं। पिछले साल हाउसिंग ओम्बड्समैन ने लैंडलॉर्ड को रिहायशियों को 6 मिलियन पाउंड से ज्यादा मुआवजा अदा करने का हुक्म दिया था। एक महफूज घर का होना सबका हक है। अपने हुकूक जाने, मुलाहिजा करें gov.uk/social housing।
Looking to get your finances in order?
So we're carrying on and
Right,
finding different themes and.
Some people say it's just stubborn and awkward, but
I
I
am.
wouldn't say that.
I think Stan is quite useful sometimes. Stant is quite useful. What he does.
Sant and Stan, we're quite useful.
Sorry, it's just very difficult for dyslexic people. It's
Yeah.
very unkind.
You wait till you taste these beans. They've got some lovely beans.
Anyway, back to the market.
Back to the market. We were just talking
with
about
these
how
two stalwarts of the market on either side of me. Yes.
what
yeah.
we're talking about
I've
is
got to mention, right? You know, I've talked about the heavy hitters here, but what people would notice is through this book, and when you see the pictures, you will see a name called Saif Osmani. He is Friends of Queen's Market's heavy hitter.
Yes.
So you will see his name in. So
So
we do have a
Amazing.
direct sort of impact in this as well. You know, a member of Friends of Queen's Market. So yeah, keep an eye out for his name. He's
a multi-talented person
Talented.
because he takes
Yeah.
photographs. He's an artist. He is involved in planning. He's involved with teaching.
Yeah, so he's in there. So he sits with the heavy hitters as well.
I think Sasha was involved before as well, wasn't she?
Yes, yes, but anyway, I think names, you know, and details of jobs are
Yes.
something
Anyway,
else,
yeah.
something
Really
else.
well.
But yeah, we've got a very diverse Friends of Queen's Market are a very diverse lot, you know, all the talents and a lot of
But we're all
including
older
life
fogies.
talents,
There's any young
including-
people out there. We need you.
Yeah, we need young people. We need young people to join in. We need young people to carry this on
Yeah.
because you know the struggle always goes on, and yeah, we could do with some young blood coming in.
Right. Well, I will have to try and
But can I sort of interject here?
Go on, then.
Where we've got food, and we're talking about food, I saw an editorial from the Guardian last week, and you know they talked about hospital administration admins,
Yeah.
and they sort of said between admin hospital, right? This is in England, and this is the admins are really related to things that can be avoided for people, you know, to prevent people
So you're
coming
talking
in.
about people who've been admitted to hospital.
Admitted to hospital,
Yeah.
and the reason they've been admitted to is because of lack of certain vitamins.
Uh-huh.
And what they're saying is that in that report was that, or in that editorial was that, you know, that the food is being made so expensive, right?
Yeah.
Fresh fruit and vegetables made so expensive that people are going for the cheap alternatives. And that is where we got a problem. You know, we have to look at, i.e., vitamin C or the B12 vitamins, all these sort of things. And they say that, you know, it's something that really that it could be avoided. And when we talk about social value, cost values, that is a value that is playing an impact, right, on the NHS, which really keeping markets alive and functioning will actually save the country, save the NHS billions in return.
Well, yes, and you're talking about vitamin C, particularly at the moment. You can buy satsumas and clementines really reasonably, 12, 15 a pound.
Uh-huh.
And that's where you get your vitamin C, you know, lots of lemons as well. So yeah, from the health point of view, it would be interesting to get somebody to set up from the health side to set up a stall there, but perhaps that's something we should bear in mind.
But that's talking about the main findings
Yes,
from the
back to
report.
the
That was
report,
one
yes.
of the key things was that the predominantly low income, as you said, Stan, the low income shoppers are so totally reliant on those prices and those that.
Yeah, there's a
food.
funny.
Pensioners as well. There's a big proportion of pensioners that can only
Yeah,
shop
it
at the
says it makes
market.
it clear that the market is serving lower income communities. In fact, if you look at the top working community, higher management administrative professional occupations, they've got a big fat 0 for the proportion there. And when you, sorry,
okay.
and when you get to the poorest people, unemployed and lower grade occupations, 26%. So there's lots of people in between, mind you. But
sorry, I forget. In 2023 to 2024, there were 191,927 admissions where the main reason was a lack of iron. That's up 11% on 2022 to 2023. The figure is almost 10 times the 20,396 hospital administration for the lack of iron. This is from 1998 to 1999. Then it goes on.
Just say the figure. How many people were admitted into hospital?
From 2023 to 2024, it's 191,927.
191,000.
Yeah, and that's through lack of iron, you know.
That's really interesting.
And then they goes on to say, I'm sorry about this, I just got to get this
massive number of people.
And they said there were also 2,630 admissions in 2023 to 2024 with B vitamin deficiency. B vitamin now at this time, right, other than folate, was the main reason for 15% on the previous year. See, we could just keep going. B12, right? Then it goes deficiency anemia related in 3,490 hospital admissions. This is 2023, 2024.
you see, I don't know where you get vitamin B from, but iron is certainly spinach.
Yeah,
it's really interesting because there's a quote in the actual report, because through the report there are quotes from people, a number of different people actually, including council people. And one of them is a woman says she was pregnant and didn't know how to get iron. And she says, I asked one of the stallholders, how do I get my iron? And he told me. So there you are. So there you have exactly what we're talking about, the benefits of the market and the sort of friendliness and the exchange of information and
it says
for your benefit.
It says Hawthorne urged ministers to commit to prevention-based approach to health, which she said would not only improve people's quality of life, but ultimately alleviate pressure on the health service.
Yeah.
This is what markets are doing. The government spokesman, Lord Darcy's report laid bare the poor health of our nation, right, which is putting the NHS at risk. So, you know, this is far-reaching into the country's economy. And the NHS is stretched as it is. Our A&Es are filled. What we need to take is a much more holistic look at how the health of this country is going. We need to safeguard our market to provide the basics. Remove the basics, and it's not happening. It's just not happening.
Well, we're always redoing. We can carry on redoing our comparison shopping basket, can't we? Between the market and the supermarket, beginning with tea, for example. And the difference is so clear, isn't it? It's something like at least double the amount. I wouldn't say, or slightly under double.
You get a lot more for your pound
you get all so much more. And that man we were talking to in the summer about always has some fruit in the fridge for his children, comes at the beginning of the week, buys the fruit for his children, and they get something every single day.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I'm not sure what governments are doing. I don't know what direction they're doing. They're there to govern and look after their population, as well as deal with infrastructure and everything else. But they're failing on that side.
Well, they very often don't join the dots either, do they?
No.
Yes, and of course they're up against the food industry, the people who make ultra-processed foods, who want people to get hooked on sugar and salt, and not. But yes, it's there in this book. You know, the terrific foods there, mouth-watering pictures.
Mouth-watering.
Plugging the photography.
Yeah.
Yes. So
was that off a mango or something like that? Melons.
Oh yes, and I mean you've got them now, lovely melons, and the persimmon kaki at the moment, the sweet orange fruit. You're looking blank. This is very interesting. If you ever want to break down barriers and start pick a fairly unknown vegetable and start asking people what they call it, and you'll find so many people have got
How do
so
you
many
cook it?
different names.
Yeah,
for
Yes,
it.
it depends where you're from in the world. Yeah.
Yes.
Even people from the same area or the same part of the world, if it's a certain vegetable, they'll all cook it slightly different.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. It's exchange of information, exchange of ideas.
And
Yeah.
this is certainly here. Yes.
And the other clear part about the market is the cultural mix, isn't it, of everyone mixing up together,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
which is
I mean,
incredibly important.
I've got a report here. It's a fantastic website. It's called Typical City, and it said how can cities promote market culture, and it sort of gives a lot of information on there, which I will read a bit. I'll give some in if you don't mind. And it talks about revitalising public spaces, and it sort of uses word in a bustling landscape of modern urban environments. The promotion of market culture plays a vital role in fostering economic growth, community engagement. Exactly.
Bloody revolutionary. I told you, it's Newham's Che Guevara.
Cultural diversity. Right? Cities across the globe are recognising the significance of creating vibrant marketplaces that not only serve as commercial hubs, but also as social and cultural gathering places by embracing and enhancing market culture. And that's the thing, it is a culture. Once it's gone, it's gone. Right? Cities can unlock a myriad of benefits that contribute to the overall well-being and prosperity of their residents. From supporting local business to preserving traditions and promoting innovation, here are some of the key. So this is a worldwide issue.
And what's amazing is that we've got one here. We don't have
Yes.
to start one. We've got
Yes,
one.
got
All
one.
we're saying is we want it to be really well looked after and carry on.
Yes. And your
I
point
want to
about
nourish it,
Yes.
your point.
and then it will flourish even more.
Your point about the diversity. I mean, I actually saw it last week. I went into the market. I went into the fish shop, which is staffed mainly by guys from Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and they were playing Turkish music because this is, great pop music and very much to their liking. So
Well, they're dancing.
we had a little, they were too busy serving the
Cutting the fish
customers. Yes, so we had a little listen there. And then off to the coffee shop, which is run by a Bengali guy, but he lived in Italy a lot of his life, and you can get a really good cappuccino or espresso, and your cappuccino is £1.20, and you sit down to drink it.
You know what? Newham has got so many Bangladesh Italian trained patisseries. If that was in the city, I would never be able to afford to go into one of them places. But they ran apart. I mean, they were in Newham. I could afford to go in there and sit there and have what Italians have, or somebody else has, or somewhere that's in the city somewhere at an affordable price. That's what Newham gives. We've got culture that's
You know what, Pauline? That calf, I think I've been there, and he makes proper Asian tea as well.
Yeah, well, this is what you get.
So it's not only proper coffee you can get proper Asian tea from there. Desi tea.
It tells you everything you need to know, that everything is there in Queen's Market.
Can I say this bit here? Celebrating cultural diversity. Come on. It's in there, look.
Are you being paid by the council or something?
Look. This is by the typical city, exploring urban life and city culture. Look, market culture thrives on diversity in cities. I mean, it's here. People bigger and better than me have sat down, they've got degrees to their eyeballs.
Who's bigger and better than you?
Hey, and they write these reports. People need to start looking at these things. Need to start educating themselves, find out what is their value. What do they value in life? Do they value, like freshly grown fruit, at an affordable price, because the cost of our energy has gone up 3 times, the cost of our gas has gone up, You know, we're paying through the nose for our rates, our bills, and what have you. So, food, for that to go up, it'll be a nightmare for the working class and for the poor. So, you know, we need to be looking at markets as more of a health issue, as a more
A necessity.
and a necessity.
A necessity, and as part of solutions.
Well, it is a big solution.
Yeah.
If we don't feed the nation properly, then you're going to end up trying to fix them at a cost that you'll never be able to do. And that's the thing. An army survives on its belly. If you can't feed an army, that's it. Well, I don't believe in armies, right? But a population, right, runs on its, you know, you've got to feed a population, but you've got to feed them healthy, because otherwise you will be paying for their upkeep later on, you know, by medication, by the NHS, by doctors, you name it. So it's a necessity, it's a health issue.
And the report find that the majority of people they talk to, and they worked out that the majority of shoppers do over half their shopping there. That's a lot, isn't it?
They do.
And I suppose the social value side of it has been, people are talking about this thing called social value, and there's a danger that we sort of lose ourselves in another stupid sort of term like that. But the fact is that going and shopping in the market is a different experience
than public space
than going to a supermarket.
Well, social value is a value. And the thing is, it's a value such that it actually is an act. You know, it's a 2012 act. And they've looked at everything. If you're producing something, does it have a social value?
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, does it have a social value? And it doesn't just look at a small thing of procurement. It looks at everything, the whole thing at a social value level.
So what we want the council to be doing is to be gauging that value, don't we? They can't make any decisions without assessing that value, can they?
GLA
and recognising the terrific contribution the market makes. So not treating it as a site that needs to be developed.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you? Development's just not an appropriate word. How do you develop apples? How do you develop oranges and bananas and fruit? How do you get people? How do you deal with the obesity crisis by encouraging people to eat healthy food? Generally, it's posed when people talk about obesity, the health pundits, it's posed as, oh, you're too greedy, or you're eating too many toffees. It's alternative diets. The sort of diets that people who come to the market eat should be wider spread. So this is really important. The market isn't a blank space waiting to have buildings plonked on it. There's something there that's really valuable. And this is what we just have to keep saying again and again to the council.
It is a living, breathing space.
Yes.
Actually, the people, they also found that most people travel by foot, on foot, or on a bus. So they're traveling in healthy ways, not necessarily in the car. Although some people need a car.
Yeah, some people need. Yes, you've got children,
and that's got to be provided for, hasn't it?
Older person, you need a car.
But if we're talking in this world of where, you know, we should keep everything, if we take it at their word that we want to try to keep everything in a 15-minute little bubble or a 20-minute, that fits into all of that.
Yes, absolutely.
It fits. Even though we don't have the interconnectivity of transport yet, they've failed, but still stay within that 15. And if they did get the interconnectivity, it will double itself.
What are you talking about?
To be fair, transport to Queen's Market is okay. For any of you people out there who haven't visited, it's bang on the underground.
It is.
Upton Park.
Yes, and there's buses to Canning Town, to East Ham, to Manor Park,
to Stratford.
To Stratford, yes.
104, I think, to Stratford.
It's a pretty central location, and then from Stratford you can get more or less anywhere over London. And I'm afraid bus fares are high, but perhaps what you save on your food bill, you might have to spend some of it on the bus fare or the underground fare. But You'll still be in pocket. I
You
reckon.
will be. But the thing is, the food cost, keeping it up, is not a substitute really, right, for other costs. It's just that the other costs are diminishing the amount of food that people would take home. That is a problem. If they went to a corporate-run, retailer, going to a market gives them that little bit extra. And remember,
Actually, yeah, we should. I mentioned Stan just mentioned the fabrics as well, and the other things, other clothes and other things apart from
T-shirts.
the food.
How much did you see the T-shirts for?
You can get T-shirts from market for £1.
For £1.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the haberdashery is very special, isn't
Haberdashery
And then
is
there's-
very special there. People come from all over different boroughs for the haberdashery there.
And the Sunday market brings a whole new thing.
Sunday market
You
is
can
very
even buy a
special.
trombone last time I went.
That's right.
Fantastic. Really?
No, it's a market that fulfills everything. It's a market that fulfills it. It's just that the people in there are not given agency to run it the way they think they need to run it. And if they were given the funding and the right...
Hold on, Sam, before I forget. Pauline, haven't we got a visitor coming from the Greater London Authority? Because Sadiq Khan said he was going to come to the market. He's not coming, but he's sending someone, isn't he?
He is sending somebody. We're getting his representative coming to visit the market, but that's about the good growth. But I think it'll be a good chance for us to bang the drum for him. But yes, whether he will appreciate, I think we have to really spell it out for him, because, a lot of people like these big shop people don't look closely at what's on the stalls and don't realise what bargains there are and what large quantities you can get too, which are really handy, in fact.
Yeah, we need to give him a good show him round and the important
Yes, we must make sure we do
parts
that.
of it.
Yes.
And he's going to be looking at where this money is going that Sadiq Khan has given.
Yeah.
Where's
Over
it been
£7 million.
going? Where's it been going, and why hasn't it been spent in the right ways?
Sadiq Khan should come to do. It's on his doorstep, this market, and should use it as a showcase that this is what we can do with the right investment. And he's not doing it. That's his remit as a GLA. Is to come in there to make sure that he serves the community within. He's not doing it. He needs to turn up himself.
Well,
he went to the Stratford one. He could, if he could go there, right? He could definitely come down to Queen's Market. So
maybe he went there because he was meeting his wife, because his wife used to work at UEL.
Let's hope that the representative will work for us anyway, I think.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
the
good
big
opportunity.
One. That's the big one. Yes. So meanwhile, we have to get him to celebrate the market and see all the things that our researchers found.
come on, there's another little ditty here. I'm collecting me.
You're going to read it out?
Come on, listen. Look. Stan, come on.
Go on.
The social fabric of markets. Come on. At the heart of every market lies a rich tapestry. And this is like music to my ear, of social interactions that bind individuals together. The act of buying and selling is not merely a transactional exchange, but a social experience. Come on. That involves negotiation, communication,
you can do that at the market.
and relationship building. Vendors engage in conversation with customers, sharing stories about their products or offering recommendation based on personal preference. These interactions go beyond mere exchange of goods. They create a sense of community and belonging among participants. Markets serve as a gathering space where people from diverse backgrounds come together to interact and engage with one another, whether it's a farmer's market, a flea market, or a street market. Each type of market attracts a unique mix of individuals who share a common interest in the products being offered. These shared interests...
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Very good. We're going to end the show. We've got to end the show on that great quote.
Yeah. Next time you tell us who wrote that.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
So the link we're putting the link to read the the Marcus for People report on the YouTube description.
Leeds
And
University.
thank you very much for listening. Thanks for listening to the
Queen's Market
Friends of
report.
Queen's Market.
Typical
We'll be
city.
back with another edition. And thank you very much to all the listeners, and have a great day.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And
And Merry
see you
Christmas to all the
soon.
ones we missed.
Stop genocide.
Stop genocide.